Hi, this is PR Frank, and this is part 3 of HTML versus Dreamweaver. And what we're going to try to do is show how to add some structure to this site. So one of the first things I want to do is take this My First Website and make it a nice big title at the top. And I can use the level 1 heading for this. These headings help us to have some default sizes for our text, and search engines recognize them as well as important things. So there we go, that's going to be big. And I want to contain that in a tag called a header tag. That's different than a heading tag. The header tag lets the browser know that this is the thing that's appearing at the top of the document. It could be a picture, it could be your logo. In this case, it's just going to say My First Website nice and large. Let's put some space in between the header and the next element, which is called nav. And this is where your navigation bar can go. Inside of that, I'm just going to put some text that will later on become our text here. And we'll just have a home, a work page, and an about page. And later on, those will become links, but not yet. And then after nav, we're going to have a sidebar. And the sidebar structural element for HTML5 is called aside. And we're going to go ahead and put a closing one in there. And for our side text, we're going to go ahead and use level 2 heading and make it say aside, so we can see where that's going to be when we preview that. And I'm sorry, close that with an H2 tag. And also inside of there, we want to indent in, have a 1 level indent. We would like to have some sort of paragraph of text, so we can use a P tag to say this is going to be a paragraph of text. And inside there, we're going to insert some dummy text. So we're going to go over to a website called Ellipsum, and we can just grab some text. How about this one paragraph of text here? We'll switch back over, paste that in, and it's going to be a paragraph of text that's in Latin as placeholder. Go down a couple of more lines here, and we'll put the next thing, which is going to contain the main part of our site, and we'll use the main element for that, opening and closing. And we'll put another level 2 heading in there called main. And let's go ahead and get some more paragraphs over here from our Ellipsum site. These next 3 paragraphs will do just fine. And we paste them in. Now, web browsers won't recognize these spaces. And we can clearly see there are 3 paragraphs here. But if we don't put our paragraph tags in, opening and closing at the end of each one, the web browser won't recognize that. It'll just run it all together into one big paragraph. So we do have to go ahead and code in those paragraph tags to make sure that our browser sees that. And let's go ahead and do the second level indent on each one of these so that it visually makes sense to us and anyone else who might want to look at the code. Okay. And finally, after the main, we're going to close off with a footer tag, and the footer tag typically contains information about the author. I'll just put my name, and I'll put the copyright symbol, which in this case is coded and copy semicolon and the year 2017. And there we have our site. Now if I save this and I go back over and I refresh, you can see that now we have a nice big My First Website at the top, what will become our links, the aside, the main, in the H2 style with paragraphs and my PR Frank at copyright 2007. PR Frank copyright 2007. You don't see the aside and the main acting like they should right now, and that's going to be when we style it in the next tutorial. Well, let's see how this happens in Dreamweaver. So here we have, it just says My First Website, and there I can, in design mode here, I can select the text, and I can come on over here, and I can drop down in the H section. These are all my level headings, and I'll just click H1, and you can see immediately it gives us some feedback that it's gotten larger, and down here you can see it put the H1 tags around it. Well, let's go ahead and select this entire section again, and we're going to take the if we scroll down here to our structural elements, we can click on header, and it'll wrap the header around the selection. We can also do it at the insertion point and lots of other choices after or before, but I like the wrap around the selection. That's what I'd like. It also gives us a choice to add CSS to it right now. We're not going to do that. Say OK. And it wraps the header right around there. Put a couple other spaces in there. And next we need our aside. So we hit the aside button. It gives us a place where the content for the new aside goes here. Well, all we want to do is we want to type the word aside, select the word aside, scroll back up in our insertion panel, drop this down and choose a level 2 heading. It wraps that nicely around there. Let's go ahead and make our aside go down to the next line and our H2 to the next line so things can stay organized. And here's where we'll put that paragraph in. I'm just going to go grab that paragraph that we had from our other page right from the page itself, and we can paste that in. Once again, I can select that, and you probably guessed it, we can just click on paragraph and it wraps the paragraph tags around it. It's very easy. So the next one after aside is our main. Another thing in Dreamweaver that you can do to make it easy is just type the name of an element and press tab, and it automatically gives you those two tags, the opening and the closing. Let's go back over and get all the content for main, the word main and the 3 paragraphs. We can paste it right inside of there. As you can see, it's got all those paragraphs, but there are no paragraph tags and there is no H2 element. But that's okay, we can just click that. There's our H2, and we can select each paragraph, hit paragraph, and it will create a paragraph out of the selected element. So it's a little easier than typing all those opening and closing P tags. You're less likely to miss a piece of punctuation or something that way. And finally, we're going to end up with our footer. Once again, we just type the word footer, tab, and it gives us the footer. I can type my name in there. And if I want to use a special character, I can just hit the ampersand, and it brings up a whole list of all the characters in alphabetical order. There it is, and copy. I can double click it, and it adds the rest of the code for me. And now it says 2017. I'll go ahead and save this. I can preview it in the browser here. And it brings it right up. As you can see, it has the same look as the other one does. It's got no styling yet, but we'll get to that in the next tutorial, so please stay tuned.